deep inside a colossal underground cavern. Glowing crystals cast shimmering reflections across the walls. Thousands of ants filled the tunnels in perfect formation, their movements synchronized like a living army. At the very center lay their queen, immense, majestic, yet weakened. Her body trembled with exhaustion, and her loyal guards stood close, their antennae twitching in worry. From the crowd, a single small ant stepped forward. Though tiny compared to the queen, her heart burned with determination. She raised her voice. "My queen, time is slipping away. Our people are suffering, our city is fading. Perhaps the humans above can offer us hope." The queen slowly lifted her heavy head, her dim eyes filled with sorrow, and whispered faintly, "Then go, carry our trust. The future of our kind rests with you." Obeying her command, the small ant left the crystal-lit city. Behind her, the cavern glowed like a hidden sky of stars. She climbed to the surface, where the night was silent and the moon spilled silver light across the earth. Her steps were swift, driven by a mission far greater than herself. At last, she reached a quiet home with an open window. Inside, a man lay sleeping peacefully, unaware of destiny approaching. The ant crept closer, climbing toward his ear, and thus their extraordinary story began. The man awoke suddenly, crying out in pain, clutching his ear as if fire burned inside. Sweat rolled down his forehead, and his eyes widened in terror. Yet through the agony came something stranger, a faint whisper echoing within, while green, translucent waves shimmered around. His ear as if the sound had become visible. He froze, until before his eyes appeared a glowing, transparent ant the size of a hand, standing on his shoulder like a living spirit. In shock, he whispered, "Are you the one speaking to me?" The ant answered in a deep voice, "Yes, I am the messenger of my tribe. Our queen is dying, and without the leaves of the green secret tree, our entire people will perish." Silence fell. Then compassion stirred in the man's heart. He realized the weight of her plea and spoke firmly. "If your lives depend on me, I will help you." The spirit smiled with gratitude, and as dawn broke, the man walked to the old harbor, where an aged sailor waited beside a weathered wooden boat. Above, seagulls circled, and the cloudy sky promised an uncertain fate. Yet in his heart, a new determination was born. The small boat moved gently over the open sea, cutting a thin line across the quiet waters. At the bow stood the man, his hands gripping the wooden rail, his eyes fixed on the fading horizon. The last glow of sunset painted the surface in shimmering gold, and the calm rocking of the waves almost soothed the weight in his chest. For a fleeting moment, he let himself believe the path ahead might be kinder than his fears. But suddenly, the sky shifted. Heavy clouds rolled in like black curtains, swallowing every trace of light. The air thickened, winds howled like wild beasts, and the sea erupted in rage. Waves towered high, crashing against the fragile boat, drenching him in icy spray. Rain lashed his skin, thunder split the heavens, and lightning carved the darkness. The ropes cut into his hands as he clung desperately, heart pounding, each breath a fight against despair. Yet somewhere deep within, he refused to yield. At last, drained and trembling, he collapsed on the soaked deck. And there, between sleep and waking, a vision appeared, an ant glowing with emerald lights, delicate yet powerful. Her voice, gentle but urgent, whispered, "Your trial is not over. Beyond this storm, destiny awaits." On the horizon, a rocky island shrouded in mist rises, its twisted dark trees standing like silent sentinels. He stands in his wooden boat, gazing at it, as if the island itself is calling him. Waves crash around him, the air heavy with dread. Gripping his stick firmly, he steps from the boat onto the cold sand, then begins his walk into the island. The scene shifts, and he is soon deep within a dense forest. Twisted trunks and towering trees blot out the sky, while shafts of golden sunlight pierce the mist like hidden pathways. He moves cautiously, each step uncertain, his eyes scanning the shadows. The forest stands still, yet not entirely silent. The man began climbing the mountain. The wind roared, sharp rocks cut his palms, and sweat ran down his face. Every step was heavier than the last, yet he pressed on. At one moment he slipped, hanging dangerously from a ledge, but his grip held firm. Halfway up, he noticed a dark cavern carved into the stone. From its depths emerged a massive serpent, eyes burning, breath hissing like fire. The man froze, but the ant beside him cried out, "Great Guardian, do not harm him. This man is good. He has come to rescue my tribe." The serpent studied him carefully. "For ages I have guarded this mountain. Many tried to reach the summit, but their hearts were filled with greed, and the cliffs devoured them. Tell me, stranger, why do you climb? The man steadied himself and answered, "Not for myself. I climb for them, for a fragile people who have called out for help." The serpent lowered its head, voice deep and solemn. "Then you are different. The path before you is cruel, but there is another, hidden way. If your courage is true, follow it." With a gesture, the guardian revealed a narrow passage. The man took it, and his steps grew lighter. At last he stood upon the summit, the wind now calm around him. He turned back and called, "Thank you, mighty guardian." And in his ear the ant whispered with joy, "Thank you. You have saved not only me, but all of my people." Dawn crept slowly through the remnants of night. As the first golden rays of sunlight pierced the thick mist, unveiling the towering mountain peak, the man stood there, body weary from the long climb. Yet his eyes were filled with awe, as if witnessing the world anew. As he took slow, heavy steps forward, a colossal tree emerged before him, unlike anything he had ever known. Its leaves shimmered like emeralds, glowing as though life itself pulsed within them. The air grew softer, clearer, and the whole atmosphere brimmed with enchantment. An unexplainable force drew him closer, and with each step, his heartbeat quickened. As if he was nearing a hidden truth, with trembling hand he reached toward a glowing leaf. The moment his fingers brushed against it, a radiant burst of light spread through the clearing. A sudden gust of wind swept around him, the tree's leaves rustling in a voice that seemed to watch, to warn, or perhaps to bless. The man stood spellbound, realizing he had not merely touched a leaf, but awakened a secret far greater than he had ever imagined. The man sat quietly in the small boat, the glowing ant resting on his shoulder like a guardian spirit. Around him, fresh green leaves rustled gently, filling the air with a scent of life and hope. Far away, deep in the earth, the ant city sparkled with joy. Thousands of tiny voices rose together in celebration, their queen saved, their future restored. The ants moved with silent determination, their tiny bodies glowing in the moonlight. Together, as if guided by one spirit, they lifted the radiant ruby. Through hidden tunnels and secret paths of the earth, they carried their treasure until it reached the place where the man rested. At dawn, the man stirred restlessly and turned his head on the pillow. Something hard pressed beneath it. Curious, he lifted the corner of the pillow and froze. A ruby, glowing like a hidden ember, rested quietly where he had slept. He did not touch it. He only gazed at its mysterious light. A warmth filled his chest, and he whispered softly, "Thank you, little ones. Thank you, noble queen." For a moment, silence embraced the room, but the ruby's glow seemed to pulse as if answering him. He realized then that his journey with the ants was not truly over. This was not just a reward. It was a message, a promise of paths yet unseen. With a quiet smile, he closed his eyes again, knowing deep inside, another adventure was waiting.